What's up, brother? How we
are
doing?
we?
How we doing? How we living?
Good morning.
Good morning,
my friend.
You got me in here early today.
Yes.
You got
yeah.
me in here early today.
Excited to be here. Cheers. Thanks for the coffee, per usual.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Young, motivated motherfuckers. OG edition. Unk edition. Old man edition. Keep going in and in on the.
Yeah. I never thought I'd be in this position.
Hey, it's the times. Everyone's got a little podcast. Everyone's doing a little something, right?
Yeah, no, I just mean the unk position.
Oh shit.
When you, when you get to this age, man, you find yourself talking to young men much like yourself, and then you find out that you're in the unk seat now. So it goes by quickly.
Does it even like hit you? Because you still feel the same way, correct?
Yeah, brother. I mean, nothing changes. I think, no, I feel the same way I did when I was, I don't want to say 15, 16, because my mindset's changed. I think physically I feel similar. I think mentally there's just, as a man, there's just so much you go through, and you're from graduating high school to figuring out life after that, whether it's college or working or getting in debt and figuring out your early 20s and where you want to be and what life's going to look like for you, and and then you hit your 30s, brother, and you become an unk. And then you look around and you realize that you've learned a lot, but there's still a lot to learn.
Yeah. And that's the biggest reason why I wanted to get you, and then I want to continue getting older and older, maybe not older and older, but wiser and wiser men on here, or just people on here, because how many times will I come up to you, hey, bro, I need some advice.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, I'm going through this.
Yeah.
And you've already played the game.
Yeah.
You were already in the fourth quarter. I'm in the second. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
maybe not fourth.
To make it clear, guys.
Hey,
I'm 36 years old. I'm 36 years old. I'm turning 37 next week. Okay. I still have a lot to accomplish, but yes, I've learned a little bit along my 36 years. Yeah.
I told myself I was gonna bullshit with you with the age.
Yeah, you're killing me here now.
Nah. But before we get into all that, man, please introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Your name, your age, what you do.
Yeah.
And how you feeling? How's life?
Yeah. So my name's Dre Torres, from San Diego, born and raised. Just a little bit about myself. I'm a father of three, happily married, man of Christ first and foremost.
Amen.
And life's good. I mean, life's as good as it can be. You know, raising a family of 5 in Southern California, and I mean, there's a lot of struggles that you deal with, but there's also a lot of blessings. So I tend to focus on the blessings more than anything.
And to me, bro, because I just saw your wife come in here, how you guys vibe and interact, and then you said you were a father. Bro, I want to do a lot of big things in life, but to me right there, that's success.
Yeah.
Happy wife and children. To me, that is, I would give up all that other shit I want to do to have that, but I'm trying to do both, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think that's a part of the journey, though, right? Like, when I was young, it was chasing the bag, and whatever the bag was, right? I thought at one point it was making 40,000, right?
Yeah.
And then at another point it was like, okay, that's not enough, right? And then you get to your next level financially, and it's like, okay, that's not enough, right? And then somewhere along the way, you keep achieving these financial goals, and you realize that it's not so much about chasing the bag, and what I mean by that is chasing money. It's more about having what you need to keep the people around you comfortable. And I think that's my biggest focus, is just being able to make sure that the people around me are comfortable.
Yeah. Do you think that should be the mindset in a young man's life?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's the evolution, right?
Yeah.
I think it's the evolution of, and don't get me wrong, man, I don't want to say I don't chase the bag, right? I mean, I'm up at 4:30 every day. I'm working out in the gym early in the morning. I'm online. I work virtually East Coast hours as somebody who lives on the West Coast, strictly to give myself competitive edge, because, I'm doing business with people all over the U.S. So, being up in the morning when they're up working is important. But I I just think it's a mindset thing, right? I think it's, you know, everybody talks about your why and why you do things. And, you know, it's really hard to keep yourself motivated on a daily basis. I just think that chasing success is what we're all going to do, or what I would hope that most men strive to do.
Yeah.
What you do it for is up to you, right? Early on, it might be financial reasons. 10 years later, it might change, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, you just never know what goes on in your life.
Your definition of success is?
It's just being comfortable, just being happy. Yeah, just being happy.
Comfortable in what sense? Because
just comfortable in the sense that I can go on vacation with my family a few times a year, and I can be present for all my children's sporting sporting events, and not have to miss things, and be able to provide for my family. And, you know, luckily my wife, gets to stay at home, and she's raised virtually all of our children, versus us paying for childcare and her working. Yeah. With that came a lot of sacrifices, especially, at 25 years old, making the decision to have your wife stay at home, and you really don't know if you can make it work, but you're just like, we're going to make it work. Yeah. There's just a lot of sacrifice that kind of goes into whatever some people might consider success. But for me, it's just being able to live life with my family and be present, and also be able to provide financially.
Dude, 25? You got your first kid?
So not a crazy story, but I met my wife at 20. I had just turned 21. She was 20. I was promoting downtown. I just came back from Santa Barbara. I played some football for a few years at the junior college out in Santa Barbara. Shout out Vax.
Shout out.
Long story short, when I met her, my son Connor was about 13 months old, so she already had a kid. So when I met her, that was like the whole thing. She was single. We talked. She was very, true story is we were jet skiing. I was hungover. My friends were all out on the water. It got overcast, kind of like it was this weekend. Everybody was coming off the water freezing. So I was like, I'm not jumping out on the jet skis. And I didn't even talk to this girl the whole day. She was just wearing this little bathing suit. She was obviously beautiful. And my friends just kept saying, get on the jet skis. And I was like, nah, forget that. And then out of nowhere, she was like, hey, why don't you jump on the jet skis? She said, why don't you jump on the jet skis? She said, why don't you jump on the jet skis, you pussy? And I go, I'll do it if you come with me. And that's the end of it, brother.
The rest was history.
But long story short, yeah. So I became, a dad early on, when I knew that I wanted to be with my wife, right? I knew that more importantly, I had to, love my son Connor first. It wasn't just like a one night thing, right? It was like I knew I had to, I just knew I had to figure things out, right? So, long story short, that's just kind of how it happened, man. I became a dad at 21. I was in the club scene downtown. I realized I had to get a job, start making money if I wanted to be with this girl and provide, to get my own place, to get my own car, to live my own life. And by trial and error, man, I just started finding jobs.
Would you say you put yourself in that struggle, quote unquote, or even if you want to call it a struggle?
Yeah, no doubt about it, because it didn't matter what people told me. I was going to do things my way, and I had to fail in order to get to where I'm at today. And I'm still sure there's a lot of failures still ahead of me. But when I was young, I was hard-headed. You know what I mean? Like, my parents tried to tell me, and I had a very supportive family, and still do to this day. My parents are amazing. But, yeah, I had to fail and figure it out, right? I was digging trenches, tying rebar, and I realized that wasn't for me. Not that there's anything against any of that. That's, my dad's a concrete finisher, and my grandfather was one, and, that raised my brother and sister and I. So nothing against that work, but it wasn't for me in the sense that I knew that's not what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I got a sales job and was making 250 cold calls a day, getting hung up on 240 times a day. And I closed 110 deals in under a year. And long story short, the CFO, Justin Sorini, shout out Justin, Him and I were playing a ton of golf together at the time. I was young, but I made friends with the CFO of the company just through playing golf. And when I got my W-2 that year, he called me in and he said, I made like 55 grand. And he said, hey man, like you brought in this company over $1 million and you made 55,000. He's like, there's a lot of places that will pay you for what you're good at. He goes, you know, I recommend you get another job. I quit the next day.
Kept it 100.
Quit the next day, no job lined up. My wife always supported me. I remember having that conversation with her, and she said, cool, you'll figure it out. Found an odd-end job, traveling, working, selling merchant processing machines, so like POS machines that you use. Yeah. I was traveling 2 weeks on, 1 week off. That was brutal in my early 20s. I was staying at some of the worst hotels you could stay at, finding crack pipes in my hotel couch in San Jose. I mean, you name it. I'm talking bottom of the level sales. But I was closing deals, grinding. Long story short, I realized that's not what I wanted. Ended up in insurance sales with AAA, and I was there for almost 9 years. Did everything from insurance sales to, I was one of the youngest promoted managers at about 26 years old at the headquarters at AAA. So I was managing the sales floor. I had about 27 agents underneath me, and guys were about 55 years old to 45. I was about 26 years old, so that was a learning experience in itself. And then jumped over into the lending business.
Shit, what you put in is what you get. That's what I'm hearing from you, man.
Yeah. I mean, like, I was fortunate enough to make my first 6 figures, you know, in my early 20s. I think 22, 23 years old, I made my first 6 figures. But even then, you know, made a lot of mistakes, brother. Yeah. And when you're young and starting a family, you know, it sounds like a lot, but living in Southern California, having to provide and pay for a family, it's not as much as you think at times.
You see, I feel like hearing all this is beautiful and I love it, but then it also makes me think like, fuck. And I feel like a lot of youngins too, especially when you hop online and you see streamers doing their thing, you see young rappers doing their thing, or you just see young influencers doing their thing and they're getting famous for stupid shit, making stupid bread. Yeah. And then, or you look at the flip side, when I'm talking to people like you, hey, at 23, 24, I was already doing this, that, boom, boom, boom. How do you, let me ask you, when you were my age, were you already comparing yourself? Were you how do you get out of that mindset?
Yeah, I talk about that all the time. Like, I mean, and mind you, let me level set here, right? Barely graduated high school. I was a decent high school athlete, played football, lacrosse, you know, grew up playing sports, but, you know, sports is what kept me going to school, keeping above a 2.0 so I can play football, play lacrosse, do what I need to do. Dyslexic, you know, never went to a doctor, but at this point in life, I know I'm dyslexic, ADHD, I mean, you name it, right? So like learning disabilities, learning disabilities as a kid that I didn't know about, right? I couldn't pay attention, a lot of stuff that I just didn't know about at the time, right? And I always thought that I wasn't as smart as everybody else. It took me twice as much to learn. So to answer your question, no, I always felt inside that I was destined to do something more. I just didn't know how I was going to get there. Yeah. Right? So that's what I talked to you about, like the failure. Like a lot of those odd-end jobs, like in between, I don't want to say I didn't have failures, but I was just taking risk and taking chances, right? Like when that CFO told me to look for another job, I didn't say, okay, well, let me just stay here, you know, and figure it out for the time being. Yeah. I knew that if I would have done that, I would have never moved on. So I had to quit and get in the hot seat in order for myself to find another job so that I can move on, right? Yeah. And one thing that I've continued to do throughout my career is that I've realized when the writing's on the wall, whether it's in corporate America, whether it's in construction, writing on the wall, meaning I know when it's my time to go. And some places I've stayed longer than others, and I've missed out on opportunity. I've missed out on a ton of opportunity, right? Especially in my early 20s. I could have made way more money. My family and I could be in a much better position financially. But at the end of the day, that's part of living and learning. Yeah. That's part of getting to where you're at, right? And then in your 30s, you don't make those same decisions. And I'm sure in my 40s, I won't make the same decisions that I made in my 30s, if that makes sense, right? Yeah.
So you telling me these grind moments, but then shit, when I be giving you coffee, you be telling me about these moments where you was young, outside, bullshitting.
Yeah, I mean, I was, yeah, like I wasn't on any like clear path. I think
Yeah.
the best part that I had going for me was my relationship building, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even at a young age when it was like club promoting, right? Like I didn't really know people in the club scene when I was freshly. I just got back from Santa Barbara. I was selling women's shoes at
Yeah.
Nordstrom. I was 21 years old, and I didn't like standing in lines,
Yeah.
and I didn't have a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was just networking, building relationships.
You know what? I like how you said that because I feel like I can relate a lot with that
Yeah,
shit.
that was the
That
biggest thing for me, right? Is being able to
biggest-
talk to people.
yeah.
And then once I realized I could relate with a lot of different types of people, whether it was selling shoes, whether it was selling people over the phone, in person, I focused more on building relationships than I did than I did like what school I went to or how smart I was or right. I didn't look great on paper, but I was able to talk to people and build relationships that way.
Yeah. I brought up that because I wanted to ask you those moments where you were in those stumps or you felt unmotivated or you didn't know where the fuck you were going in life. What besides your relationship, well, it probably was just your relationship, but like what are other key moments where you were like, man, I need to get up, I need to do something? Was it one certain failure? Was it one certain fuck up? Was it just looking around one day like, man, what am I doing? Like, what was that moment where you were like,
Yeah, man. You know, I just remember. Yeah, it was truthfully my woman. I mean, I
yeah,
was living with my best friend Taylor at the time. His parents, had a beautiful home that they let us stay in. The Cronin family, shout out the Cronin family.
shout out?
R.I.P. Mama Cronin. But Taylor's family let us stay in this house. I met my wife. Taylor and I was my best friend. We were doing construction at the time together. We were just trying to work, you know.
Yeah.
We were working at the tree lot. We were partying like rock stars. And then I met my girl, and everything kind of changed, right? And then that's when I got into the sales job, and I thought I was just getting that job just to figure out something for the time being. And then everybody my whole life had told me, you're going to be in sales or you're going to be a lawyer. You're going to be in sales or you're going to be a lawyer. And I never knew what people were talking about. I just thought I was destined for construction and working with my hands. And I never thought I would be able to make money being in air conditioning or being able to work remotely for myself. And I just never thought I would have that ability because I didn't go to school. I thought that's what you had to do, right? And then I realized over the years that, building relationships and having the ability to learn what companies want you to learn is more important than the knowledge that you have going into a company. You just have to have the ability to learn something. That's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you go into. Whether it's insurance, and you just have to have the ability to get your insurance license and learn what that company does. If it's lending, no different. If it's software sales, no different. There's a ton of people with degrees, but that doesn't make them. I sit side by side with a ton of people that have degrees from every major university you can talk to.
Yeah.
Right? I could barely pass high school, and they can't even sit on the same bench as me.
Yeah.
And that's legitimate stuff. Not talking myself up, but solely just because
It's that confidence. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's just
confidence.
Yeah, I think it's just confidence, and I think it's being able to take risk and being okay with willing to fail, bro. I failed a lot too.
Shit, man, you put yourself back in my shoes. 23.
Yeah.
Early 20s. What's something you wish you knew then? I mean, what's something that you know now that you wish you knew then? Just imagine there was a whole bunch of just youngins right here.
Yeah. I'll tell you, and I can only speak to my, I've been in sales now for, since I was, 20 years old, 21, and I'm turning 37 in a few days. So I could just speak to the sales side of things, but I'll tell you this, if you're looking to get in sales, software sales is the way to go. Start at any type of entry level. whether it's, actual software solutions, whether it's, Internet of Things, something tangible in the software space that you can sell. But it's just one of the spaces that they take care of their people. The benefits are unbelievable. Majority of these companies have unlimited PTO, give legitimate salaries, and as you move up in those companies, you get financially compensated the right way. A lot of other sales companies, it's commission based. You're working your butt off. That's all I was in for a lot of years, and it's good, and it made me a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking it. That's how you start, and that's how you figure things out, right? Because a lot of those companies are willing to give people who do not have degrees opportunities, right? So that's how you find your way. But if I were 23, 24 years old, I would be building out a resume through ChatGPT or through any type of AI software, not lying, but just having it optimize your resumes so that you can get better opportunities through LinkedIn to get yourself in front of people. Because the biggest thing for me was I didn't look great on paper, but
once I got in front of you,
once I got in front of people is where I won.
Yeah.
Right. And people were willing to give me an opportunity because they knew I could talk to people. So I can't really talk to everybody who's 23, but if you're looking to get into sales, I would definitely look in the software sales space. Any type of entry-level job at 23 years old will pay you more than enough money than you need for the time being, and start there and don't look back.
Another topic I want to really hit before we wrap this up, especially as a young man. How do you know you got a good woman, man? How do you know, how do you, when it comes to women, man? Because I know you live in a little different time era than I did, but shit, nowadays, you go on social media, the internet, there's options everywhere. There's options everywhere.
I wasn't around, thank the Lord. I wasn't around for Tinder or any of that. I met my wife organically. We met in person, but... man, I can't tell, all I can, I have a nephew, my nephew Jalen, him and I talk a lot. He's like 25, 26, and, we talk about women, and he's in a relationship and has his ups and downs, and I never looked.
Should a young person that quote unquote doesn't have his shit together, or maybe not even that, but maybe hasn't reached the potential he wants to reach, should he even be trying to get a girl? Should he even be looking for a relationship?
Yeah, I think there's two ways to go about it, right? I think that if you're okay with where you're at and you're confident in not having everything that you want, and you find somebody who's willing to build that with you, then yes.
Yeah.
Then yeah, by all means, right? And that's what you're looking for in a relationship, right? But if you don't have what you want and you feel inferior because of it, and you're not in the right headspace, and you can't make yourself happy, then you're not gonna make anybody else happy. I promise you that, right? And I had to learn that throughout my relationship, right? I struggled with, drinking too much, and I stopped. It'll be 4 years in January. And that changed that changed a lot for me too, my discipline. But when it comes to relationships, I think it's a beautiful thing to have a woman that you can grow with, and that can support you and watch you kind of mold you into the man that you become, because that's really what they do. Everything that I am and everything that I have is because of my wife.
That's beautiful, man.
And that's not beautiful. And I know a lot of people say that, but if it wasn't for my wife and my son Connor having to buck up at 21 years old and say, okay, this club stuff was fun, but I need to get a job so I can actually get a place, to get a car, to live a life that I want to live, none of it would have happened. I'd still be just getting by. Maybe I would have figured out later on in life. I don't know. Maybe I'd be a little bit 5 years further back than I am today. I don't know. But for me, finding a good woman saved my life for sure.
Do you think, because you brought up two ways, right? There's two ways you can go about it, think about it. I'm kind of thinking right now where I enjoy life. I really do. I wake up and I do enjoy my life. I do want to strive for more, and I'm always thinking about how can I do more. But when I'm here, man, I'm talking to you, I'm talking to many people, and I enjoy my life. right now, as a relationship, if I were to like get a girlfriend, I'm trying to have a good time.
Yeah.
And is that a bad mindset to have? Where, like, yes, I would like to build. Don't get me wrong.
It depends on what your definition of a good time is, right? If your good time
my time is like, hey, you never been to Puerto Rico? Let's go to Puerto Rico.
Okay, well then, yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
hey.
but that's the kind of woman that you have to make sure that you attract, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, my situation was different. My wife was, she had a lot more going on at that age because she was a mother. She had a job.
Yeah.
She had a lot more going on.
It wasn't about her no more. It wasn't about her no more.
It was a little different. She was a lot more mature. She was taking care of, she was washing my clothes. Like, she was already doing all that stuff, you know? But we also had a ton of fun, too.
Because I'm talking about, like, right now, I seek the experiences.
Yeah.
I truly do love the experiences.
Yeah.
You know, there's times where I probably should have saved that money, but nah, I took a flight to Europe. Or I did this, I did that.
But you're 23 years old. That's what you should be doing.
Yeah. You know me, man. I be getting in my head because, like, shit.
Yeah,
but then you over here telling me, at 23.
That was just, but that was just my story.
Yeah.
Right? Like, again, chasing the bag.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my story is different. My wife and I talk about it all the time. If we didn't have kids early, or if we didn't come into a family, like we were an instant family, we call ourselves, right? Yeah. And we take a look at everybody who had kids later, and we call it being behind the 8 ball early, right? Yeah. You're just trying to figure it out. You know, some people go that route, right? And then others go the route of just, you know, being young and traveling and living life, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Like, some people want to chase the bag and make money early, and then other people want to chase experiences. At the end of the day, everybody has one life to live.
It's your story, huh?
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing, man. Like, you can chase experiences, just continue to treat people with respect, continue to, you know, build relationships, continue to have discipline, and take care of yourself, like, take care of your health. Because for any young man watching this, like, true opportunities didn't start to come my way until I stopped drinking, until I started waking up at 4:30 in the morning, until I started going to the gym every day, until I started taking care of my health. And opportunities just started coming. And that was the game changer for me. And that didn't come until I was 32. So the pivot is
it's real game right there.
It's never too late to pivot. Yeah. And I made a major pivot 15 months ago. Yep. That was pretty financially strapping, but we're still getting through it.
Yep. Thank you, brother. We're gonna do multiple parts. It's not gonna be the only time, man.
Yeah,
I know there's a lot of shit that I want to ask. But the sun kind of beating my ass right now, and I got work.
It's all good.
But I also like to do little shorter videos, because y'all motherfuckers' attention span is horrible. But this definitely won't be the only part. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yes, sir. Love.
All right.
Hey, that was fire, man. Thank you.
Is that good?
That was fire.
You should get enough in there.